You won't believe what went down in this national park back in 1946. In the United States, the national park system is a cherished treasure. Spanning over 84 million acres, the national park system includes wilderness, deserts, and mountains. Within this immense landscape, one can never predict what might be found. Over the years, numerous mysteries have unfolded across these parks. From the missing Germans to the enigmatic events at Olympic National Park, here are 20 spine-chilling real-life national park mysteries. Number 20. Missing Germans. Death Valley is a desert valley located in the northern Mojave Desert and is most known for being one of the hottest places on Earth, especially during the summer. During the winter of 1849 to 1850, a group of travelers got lost in the area, and one of them perished before they made it out of Death Valley. After surviving the place, the four gave the location its name because walking through its terrain will make you think it will be your grave. With temperatures rising to a scorching 134 degrees Fahrenheit, it's no wonder that anyone could think they would succumb to the environment of the valley. On July 23, 1996, a family of 4 German tourists suddenly went missing in this location. All 4 of them arrived in the United States on July 8 of the same year, and during their stay, they rented a green 1996 Plymouth Voyager minivan. They roamed California for a few days until they eventually ended up in Death Valley National Park. There was nothing suspicious about their actions except one thing. During the trip, 34-year-old Egbert called home to Germany requesting money to be wired to them in California. This was the last contact they made before entering the park. It started as a normal family adventure. They went camping in Hanapa Canyon near Telescope Peak, and the next day the group visited the tourist sites in the area. However, on July 27, 1996, the day of the return flight from Los Angeles to Germany, all 4 family members did not show up at the airport. At this point, Egbert's ex-wife contacted the authorities, concerned about her ex-husband and son. The last trace of the family was their rental minivan, discovered in a very remote part of the park known as Anvil Canyon. It's great to explore nature, but in the wilderness, your safety is always uncertain. When the authorities found the minivan, 4 of its tires were flat, which could have been caused by the rocky terrain. This could have been an incident the family didn't expect. The minivan drove the family for over 2 miles until its wheels gave out. Over 200 search and rescue workers tried to locate the family, but their efforts were fruitless. On October 26, 1996, the authorities officially called off the search for the missing tourists. It's hard to imagine how someone can survive out there in the wilderness with no access to food or water. The family's whereabouts remained a mystery until November 12, 2009. More than 10 years after the family disappeared, 2 hikers stumbled upon the skeletal remains of 2 adults along with identifications of the family. In their last moments, the family may have traveled on foot to seek help at the nearby Naval Air Weapons Station China Lake, but halfway through, they succumbed to the extreme heat of the environment, which probably rose to a scorching 116.5 degrees Fahrenheit, and had a heat stroke before they could reach any help. Number 19. The Lake Michigan Triangle. The Lake Michigan Triangle is a region of the Great Lakes in North America that has been associated with several mysterious events and disappearances. It's roughly bordered by Manitowoc, Wisconsin, Ludington, Michigan, and Benton Harbor, Michigan. Some of the most famous incidents associated with the triangle include the disappearance of Flight 2501 in 1950, the sinking of the Thomas Hume in 1891, and numerous reports of UFO sightings. Moreover, this site has seen several unexplained disappearances and bewildering incidents. In 1950, a military plane with 23 people on board disappeared while flying over the triangle. In 1975, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald sank in Lake Superior near the triangle, resulting in the loss of all 29 crew members. Other disappearances have included boats, planes, and even a snowmobile. The Lake Michigan Triangle is also known for its unusual weather patterns. Some witnesses have reported seeing sudden and severe storms appear out of nowhere, while others have reported seeing strange cloud formations or experiencing strange electrical phenomena. The triangle has also been the site of numerous reported UFO sightings. Some witnesses have reported seeing strange lights or objects in the sky, while others have reported seeing actual spacecraft. Another strange phenomenon reported in the Lake Michigan Triangle is the occurrence of time slips. Witnesses have reported experiencing time anomalies such as losing hours or feeling like they've traveled through time. Despite numerous theories and investigations, the mysteries of the Lake Michigan Triangle remain unsolved. Some speculate that the area is a portal to another dimension or is haunted by the spirits of those who have disappeared within its boundaries. Number 18. Smoky Mountain Tragedy. You'll never know what could happen on a trip. On June 13, 1969, a supposedly fun trip turned into an unforgettable tragedy for William Martin. William brought along his two sons, Douglas and Dennis Martin, as well as his father Clyde on a camping trip for Father's Day. The group chose to hike through the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The location was perfect for the kids to experience the wilderness and have a short adventure while bonding with their dad and their grandfather. Everything went smoothly on their first day, but they couldn't have been less prepared for what followed next. On their second day, 6-year-old Dennis hid in the bushes to surprise the adults along with his brother and the children of another family they were camping with. He was seen by his father going behind a bush to hide, but Dennis never returned. All of the other children, including Dennis' brother Douglas, got back to the site, but there were no traces of Dennis. His father immediately ran down the trail for nearly 2 miles, but after a few hours of fruitless search, he sought help from National Park Service rangers. Just when you thought that the situation couldn't get any worse, life decides to prove you wrong. Shortly after Dennis disappeared, a huge downpour broke out, which caused floods to erase any trails Dennis might have left behind. As a father, there's nothing more heartbreaking than losing your child. Extensive search efforts were done the following day, with up to 1,400 people searching for the missing 6-year-old. Sadly, Dennis' remains were never found. Although there are a couple of theories regarding what happened to Dennis. First, he might have perished after he got lost the night of the huge downpour, or perhaps someone or something took him. We might know exactly what happened to him in the future, but for now, his case remains unsolved. Number 17. Disappearance of Glenn and Bessie Hyde. Glenn and Bessie Hyde were a young couple who disappeared while attempting to navigate the treacherous rapids of the Grand Canyon in 1928. Their disappearance remains one of the most long-standing mysteries in American history and has inspired countless books, articles, and documentaries. Glenn and Bessie Hyde were newlyweds who shared a love of adventure and a desire to make a name for themselves. They embarked on a journey to navigate the entire length of the Colorado River, starting at Green River, Wyoming, and ending at Needles, California. They set out in November 1928, with Glenn piloting their wooden boat and Bessie serving as his assistant. Along the way, they encountered a number of challenges, including rough waters, freezing temperatures, and dangerous rapids. Despite these difficulties, the couple made steady progress, and they were last seen by other travelers on November 18, 1928. However, when they failed to arrive at their destination, a search party was launched, but no traces of them or their boat were ever found. There are many theories about the cause of their disappearance, with some speculating that they may have fallen victim to an accident or encountered hostile parties along the river. Others have suggested that they may have faked their own deaths to escape their troubled marriage or start a new life elsewhere. Number 16. Weird wooden structures. These wooden structures have left the Forest Service officials and park rangers in the Santa Fe National Forest scratching their heads. The structures all vary in size, but they're all made out of fallen trees. Some of them even reach over 20 feet tall and dozens of feet in diameter. If you ever stumble upon one structure, you would think that a group of people made it, but after seeing many of them, you'll start thinking that it's created by an unknown animal, a cult, or something that cannot be seen. They're just a bunch of woods, but for some reason, they're incredibly mysterious and spooky. Some of them may look like primitive teepee-like structures, but some of them also look like they're solid cones of wood. In 2017, multiple wooden structures were found, and at some point they just popped out of nowhere, as if whoever or whatever is creating them takes little to no effort to put them up. To this day, the forest rangers and the authorities don't know who built the strange structures and why, but their response is to disassemble them because they're considered to be huge fire hazards. I guess Bigfoot or the unknown cult who built them won't be very happy upon discovering their hard work was ruined. Number 15. Mount Shasta Mystery. Mount Shasta is located north of Redding, next to Interstate 5 near the Oregon border. It boasts breathtaking mountains and a view of the snowy volcanic peak that towers over 14,000 feet. The whole place is beautiful, but its claim to fame is the mysteries surrounding it. Researchers at the California Volcano Observatory believe that something otherworldly and strange can be found in Mount Shasta. Some claim there's a lost city beneath the volcano, while others claim that UFOs regularly visit the area. Whether these claims are true or not, we'll never know. Number 14. Haunted Volcano House in Hawaii. Many of us dream of visiting the beautiful beaches in Hawaii, but maybe you'll choose where you'll stay wisely after watching this video. This hotel looks unassuming and normal at first, but this place is said to be the most haunted hotel in Hawaii. Located at the summit of active volcano Kilauea, over Halimumiu crater, this volcano house hotel is said to be haunted by Madame Pele, known as the goddess of fire, volcanoes, and lightning. One of the many stories about the hotel is the ghostly white dog that welcomes guests on the road leading to the hotel. According to the locals, this may be the form Madame Pele chooses whenever the goddess isn't in the mood to spook her guests in spirit form. I'll take a ghostly canine over a malicious spirit any day. Number 13. Paula Weldens' disappearance. Paula Weldens' case is very strange and bizarre. In 1946, Weldens stayed in her college dormitory Dewey House at Bennington College in North Bennington, Vermont. One day, she thought of walking along the famous hiking trail in Vermont, the Long Trail. Paula invited her peers, but all were too busy that day, and she ended up going alone. This soon proved to be a great mistake. According to the last people who saw her, Paula left with no other belongings on her. She appeared as if she didn't intend to be gone for more than a few hours. A group of hikers saw Paula walking up the trail as they were going down, and this was the last verified interaction of her to anyone else. The day ended, and Paula didn't return. Over the next couple of days, people searched for Paula, but there were no results about her whereabouts. Theories about her whereabouts range from eloping with a lover to claiming her own life. There are still no clues regarding where Paula might have been to this day. Number 12. Hopi Keeper of Death. The Grand Canyon National Park is probably the most well-known park in the whole world. Its lore and mystery are just as vast as its terrain. According to legends, the Hopi tribe once inhabited the canyon. They're composed of elders and hunters, and during their reign, they built an underground fortress within the canyon. This tribe believed in the Keeper of Death, Masa. This god apparently resides in the canyon. If you see strange lights or hear the faint tapping of rocks in the canyon, this means that Masa is after you. This story is just that, a story, but many claim that they heard bone-chilling tapping of rocks while visiting the Grand Canyon. According to these witnesses, the sound was so eerie that it made them flee. Most of all, multiple accidents have already occurred in the alleged shelter of Masa. Number 11. The Wendigo who lurks in the wilderness. The Wendigo was a terrifying creature from the folklore of the Algonquin people, who are indigenous to the northeastern United States and Canada. It's said to be a malevolent spirit or demon that takes the form of a gaunt, skeletal creature with glowing eyes and long, sharp claws. According to legend, the Wendigo preys on humans, particularly those who are lost or stranded in the wilderness. It's said to be able to mimic human voices to lure its victims deeper into the forest, where it can then attack and devour them. It's also said to have an insatiable hunger for human flesh and is never satisfied, always craving more. The origins of the Wendigo legend are unclear, but it's thought to have originated as a cautionary tale among the Algonquin people about the dangers of cannibalism. According to some versions of the legend, a person who resorts to cannibalism in extreme circumstances may become possessed by the spirit of the Wendigo, transforming into a monster with an insatiable hunger for human flesh. In modern times, the legend of the Wendigo has been popularized in horror fiction and video games, and it's become a staple of horror lore. Some people even claim to have encountered the creature in real life, although these accounts are usually dismissed as hoaxes or the result of overactive imaginations. The number of missing persons in national parks and forests is difficult to quantify because the National Park Service does not keep comprehensive statistics on the matter. However, according to some estimates, as many as 1,600 people have gone missing in national parks and forests over the last century. Who knows? Perhaps some of these people have seen the fearsome Wendigo while trying to find their way back to the right path. Number 10. Gettysburg Ghost. If you're from Pennsylvania, there's a huge chance that you already know about the ghosts of Gettysburg. For more than 100 years, the area has been flooded by reports of paranormal activity. Many claimed that they heard cries of wounded soldiers, and many also reported that they saw terrifying apparitions. The area's history can be traced back to the clash that occurred on July 1, 1863, and the bloodshed caused many to perish. One of the most famous haunted places is the site of the Cashtown Inn and the Gettysburg Hotel. If you're brave enough to stay in these places, it's guaranteed that you'll soon have a spooky tale to tell. Number 9. Bigfoot. Bigfoot is a well-known creature, and while many believe he doesn't exist, several people think otherwise. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, was said to be behind a few of the mysterious disappearances of people in the national parks across the United States. We've seen several pieces of evidence of his existence on the internet, but so far nothing has been verified. But if you ever see a huge creature from 6 to 15 feet tall covered in fur, there's a huge chance that you might have stumbled upon the rumored Yeti. Number 8. Yaka Man. Just like Bigfoot, the Yaka Man was said to be a huge humanoid creature that roams the remote area of 29 Palms. This creature stood with a height of about 8 feet with a set of menacing glowing red eyes. He's also known as Marvin of the Mojave, and this creature apparently stalks the Marines and the military stationed in the remote desert. These beasts were captured by numerous security cameras roaming around the secure underground tunnels that hide the U.S. military's precious secret tech. I don't know how much of this info is true, but it's not too far-fetched that a creature like the Yaka Man and Bigfoot really do exist. Number 7. Missing Ranger. On exactly January 13, 1980, 41-year-old Paul Fugate went on an afternoon hike at Chiricahua National Monument in Arizona, and it was the last time anyone saw him. The park is known as the Wonderland of Rocks, and it features an 8-mile paved scenic drive and about 17 miles of day-use hiking trails. Fugate worked as a park ranger at the national park, so you can confidently say that he knew the way around the area, and yet that afternoon Fugate disappeared, leaving not a single trace behind. He was last seen walking along the trails, and that was it. Extensive efforts immediately launched to search for Fugate. Helicopters searched for him from the air, authorities from the U.S. Forest Service, the local Cochise County Sheriff's Department, and even his friends and family participated. Rumors are saying that perhaps Fugate stumbled upon something he shouldn't have seen while hiking, and so he was never seen again. To this day, his story is still known as the ranger that vanished into thin air. Number 6. Disappearance of Lauren Cho. Lauren Cho was a 30-year-old hiker who disappeared while on a cross-country trip with her friends. Her disappearance sparked an extensive search effort and remains a mystery to this day. Cho was last seen on Ben Mar Trail in Hooper Road off California State Route 62. Over the following weeks, hundreds of search and rescue personnel, as well as volunteers, scoured the area for any signs of Cho, but no evidence of her whereabouts was found. The search was eventually called off due to harsh weather conditions and the rugged terrain of the area. The circumstances surrounding Cho's disappearance are puzzling, as she was well prepared for her trip and had a detailed itinerary that she had shared with her family and friends. Additionally, the area where she was last seen is relatively well-traveled and has few natural hazards or dangers. Despite extensive efforts to locate her, including the use of search dogs, helicopters, and drones, no trace of Cho has been found. Her disappearance has left many questions unanswered and raised concerns about the safety of solo hikers and backpackers. Investigators and search teams continue to look for any new leads or information that may shed light on what happened to Lauren Cho, but her fate remains a mystery. Number 5. Yosemite National Park. Established in 1890, Yosemite National Park remains one of the most famous destinations across the United States, attracting about 4 million visitors each year. The majority of them almost always have a creepy tale to tell after leaving the park. I've already talked about Bigfoot, and Yosemite is one of the giant's alleged hiding places. There have been many cases of children mysteriously disappearing in this area. Many of them disappear in locations rich with huckleberries, and most of the time, rain follows their mysterious disappearance, which effectively erases any of their tracks. Theories range from the Wendigo to mountain devils, and yet until now, we still don't know what exactly, or rather who exactly, is behind the mysterious disappearances. Of course, there are also alleged UFO sightings in the park. For many conspiracy theorists, Yosemite National Park is a treasure trove of mysteries to uncover. Number 4. Olympic National Park. For our next bone-chilling case, we have the mysterious disappearance of Gilbert Gilman. Gilman, or Gil, visited the Olympic National Park in Washington on June 24, 2006. He parked his car at Staircase Ranger Station and conversed with a park ranger on duty. He then walked up the trail and was never seen again. People searched for Gil for 10 days, but no traces of him were found. I've talked about a few people that mysteriously disappeared in this video, and one of them was a child that was found alive and well after days in the wilderness. Gil certainly had a lot more chances of surviving in the wild. The 47-year-old was once a paratrooper in the U.S. Army, and he also served military duty in Panama, East Africa, and Israel. Gil had enough combat experience, and he's no stranger to rough environments. Helicopters and aircraft equipped with heat-seeking technology searched for Gil, but he disappeared without a trace. On August 27, 2015, he was legally declared dead. Because of his military background, Many believe that Gil simply went undercover, but many believe that perhaps something sinister is lurking within the national park. After all, Gil's disappearance is already the second case on the trail. In the 1980s, 2 hikers also went missing in the staircase loop trail of the park, and both were never seen again. Number 3. Chupacabra. Take a look at this mysterious photo captured right outside the perimeters of a zoo in Texas. The black and white photo shows a bizarre canine creature standing upright. Authorities posted this picture across several social media sites to seek help in identifying the creature, and almost everyone claimed that this is the legendary Chupacabra. Ever since then, Texas became the hot spot of Chupacabra sightings. If you're not familiar with the legendary creature, the Chupacabra is said to be a monstrous creature that preys on livestock like goats. This monster is said to be hairless, with dry, scaly skin, vicious teeth, and long, sharp claws. The size of this creature ranges from as tall as 6 feet to as short as several feet, but there is a general consensus that this creature is a morbid predator. Reports about the Chupacabra are almost always submitted by ranch owners who lost many of their livestock to this blood-sucking creature. Many believe that the Chupacabra really exists, but some people are also skeptical. I'm not too sure what to think of it myself. Do you think such a monstrous creature really exists? Or is the Chupacabra merely an animal we don't know about yet? Let me know your opinion in the comments. Number 2. Mysterious disappearance and reappearance of Catherine. About 500,000 people are reported missing each year in the United States alone, and about 1,600 of those are individuals who mysteriously vanish after visiting national parks throughout the United States. Among the huge number of disappearances, I can say that Catherine's story is the most bizarre. Imagine a little girl getting lost in a 2,500-acre wilderness area. Surely, such a little kid won't be able to survive in the wilderness for several days without the help of an adult, and yet Catherine managed to survive. Her reaction and demeanor after being found made her case even weirder. In 1946, the Van Ost family visited the Devil's Den State Park in Washington County near West Fork, Arkansas, in the United States. Despite its terrifying name, the area was famous for offering multiple outdoor activities like biking, horseback riding, camping, and hiking, to name a few. During the Van Ost family's stay, their 8-year-old Catherine played in the creek in her bathing suit along with her brothers, who were fishing, and her father, who was nearby. According to the family, they only looked away from Catherine for a few seconds, and the next thing they knew, she vanished completely. Her family wasn't immediately alarmed because of the short time she was gone, thinking that she only retrieved more stones around the creek or went back to the campsite. But seconds turned to minutes, then to hours, and Catherine didn't come back. The family searched around the creek near the campsite, but Catherine was nowhere to be found. Her sudden disappearance was already a mystery, and yet when she was found 6 days later, the situation became even creepier. The rescuers had already lost hope after a few days of not locating Catherine. She was only in her bathing suit with no shoes on, and the whole area is covered in rocky terrain, thick forests, and steep hills. The environment wasn't suitable for a child, and yet she was found in a cave by rescuers. In the calmest way possible, she eerily uttered, "Here I am." You would expect a child to cry from relief upon seeing the adult rescuers, and yet Catherine acted as if she hadn't been lost for over 5 days. The cave where Catherine was found is also incredibly unexpected. To reach the cave, you need to walk 30 miles, and the place was around 7 air miles away and 600 feet higher than the place where she had originally disappeared. These aren't the only odd details about her case. Catherine claimed that she doesn't remember much from the time she was lost, and that she survived by eating wild berries. According to her, she already heard the search dogs, but she got so scared that she didn't appear when the rescuers passed by the cave for the first time. What's more bone-chilling is that while the cave had fresh water flowing, the surrounding berries were known to be poisonous. A kid wouldn't have been able to survive a decent amount of them. Finally, according to Catherine, she slept in some warm grass that could not possibly be found inside the cave. Catherine's feet weren't in good condition, but it wasn't as bad as you'd expect from a child that walked barefoot tens of miles away and climbed 600 feet higher than her original location. For these oddities, many believe that perhaps some unknown entities took care of Catherine while she was gone, which could have explained how she managed to survive and why she was so calm even after such a terrifying experience. Now it's time for today's topic. In 1946, something happened at Glacier National Park that scientists cannot explain. A park ranger has revealed a chilling discovery made within the park's dense forests. Glacier National Park, known for its rugged mountains and pristine lakes, is also home to many legends and mysterious occurrences. One evening, while patrolling a secluded area of the park, the ranger captured a photo that defies explanation. The image shows a tall, skeletal figure with antlers, eerily resembling the mythical Wendigo. This creature, deeply rooted in Native American folklore, is said to haunt the forests, preying on those who dare to venture too far. The photo taken by the ranger has sparked a wave of fear and curiosity. Many locals believe that the Wendigo is a harbinger of doom, a creature that brings bad luck and misfortune. The sighting in Glacier National Park has only added to the park's already mysterious reputation. Have you heard about any of these incidents? Comment down below and let us know your opinion about what we just showed on screen. With that said, let's keep things moving. Number 1. The Birds of Yosemite. Let's take a break from all the horror and look at the intriguing and elusive creatures flying over Yosemite. Snowy egrets. The snowy egret is a beautiful bird that is occasionally spotted in Yosemite Valley, one of the most popular tourist destinations in California. Known for its bright white feathers and long, slender legs, the snowy egret is a striking sight against the backdrop of Yosemite's towering granite cliffs and lush forests. While the snowy egret is not a permanent resident of Yosemite Valley, it's occasionally seen in the area during its migration periods. This bird can be found throughout the Americas, from Canada to South America, and typically spends the winter months in warmer regions before returning north to breed in the summer. One of the best places to spot snowy egrets in Yosemite Valley is in and around the Merced River, which runs through the heart of the valley. These birds can often be seen wading in the river's shallow waters, using their long legs to hunt for fish, amphibians, and other small prey. The snowy egret is an essential part of the ecosystem in Yosemite Valley and other natural areas throughout the Americas. As a top predator in the food chain, it helps to maintain the balance of its ecosystem and ensure the health and vitality of the species it interacts with. While the snowy egret may not be as famous as some of the other wildlife in Yosemite, such as black bears and mountain lions, it's a beautiful and fascinating bird that's worth seeking out when visiting the area. With its striking appearance and important ecological role, the snowy egret is a valuable part of the natural heritage of Yosemite Valley and beyond. Which of these mysteries intrigued you the most? Do you have your very own creepy experience while visiting one of the national parks? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments down below. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video.